Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Coming Home to You network page. I have Patricia Fitzgerald, and she is an artist and a healer, and her page is Healing Creation. So she has got some magnificent paintings that she's going to share with us later on in a moment. But for the time being, Patricia, you're very welcome.
Thank you for having me, Declan. It's lovely to be
My
here.
pleasure. My pleasure. So, Patricia, I know with artists, a lot of people get to it later on in life that they don't always naturally start off as an artist. So, what inspired you to do the work to start to become painting?
Well, I always wanted to do it as a child, and then I grew up, in the 80s, and it wasn't a proper job. So I tried to go
Yeah,
off and get a proper job, which I did. I became a librarian. So I was a library assistant, and I put myself through art college at night, actually,
beautiful.
myself. But it turned me off painting. I didn't paint for 25 years after.
Okay,
It was very political. I wanted to explore the feminine and the spiritual and ancient Egypt, ancient Ireland, and that was
oh,
just a
lovely.
no-no. So then I continued on my job and ended up doing a degree in librarianship and became a librarian for 27 years. I worked in libraries. And then in 2012, it all just started to come out again. So I went through a divorce and just life was all up in the air. And so it all came out. It began kind of by writing and then morphed through a lot of synchronicities into mandalas and what I'm doing now. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because the colors are so vivid and so striking. And I mean, there's a few things you mentioned there now: the sacred feminine and the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Celtics. So they're two subjects that I'd love to explore as well. So would you like to share a little bit about the pyramids and the ancient Egyptians that you're
The ancient Egyptian connection. Well, for me, it began when I was about, I'd say, 19, but I didn't
okay?
understand what it was. And I ended up in Egypt by accident. And how you do that is you go
Yeah,
to Cyprus and plan to go drinking and banana boating and everything else. But I broke my arm within an hour of being there. So I was in a plaster cast from here to here. So I
right.
couldn't do much. And so we decided we'd go over to Egypt. There was a kind of cheap cruise going over to the pyramids. So we went. And I went up on the deck. Everyone goes up on the deck of the ship when it's pulling into port. And it was pulling into Port Said. And I don't know what overcame me. It was like, I'm home. And I just started
Yeah,
crying. And it was like from something ancient. I had no idea. I just thought I was going mad. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
went
yeah,
back 4 times and I just was so, so drawn to the place. So that's why at that time when I was in putting myself through our college that I really wanted to explore that whole thing. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And so then it was 25 years later, it came back hugely and it would often be in my dreams. And there's definitely past lives or something there.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah,
Remembrance. At least. Yeah.
yeah. And I think with Irish people that there is a big draw there. Maybe not for everybody, but I know was always drawn towards the pyramids and
Yeah.
the ancient cultures and the Aztecas and stuff like that. And I can't explain it. It's just that draw is there, and even with our own ancient stuff here that we have here in Ireland, uh, we
Absolutely.
have we have so many things which the magic and the small people and that
Yeah.
otherworldly stuff which is just fascinating, and it definitely comes across in your paintings, in your artwork, and I'm sure it comes across in your poetry as well. Would you like to show us some of your
Yeah.
artwork?
Sure. I will share the screen and hopefully I can get this right.
Yeah,
Okay, that's just
beautiful.
okay. Hang on. I'm
Yeah,
gonna what way am I'll try and make that. Can you see
press
all
the. Oh yeah, I
those?
can see it. Yeah, you can perhaps
Can you see
probably
all?
press the square maybe in the middle there. Uh,
Okay, I'm sorry, it's giving me
no,
notification.
no.
Can you see? Oh, actually, okay, we'll go with this one here now.
Yeah,
Now, that's better. Okay. There's too many things open all at once. Okay.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, and it can get too. What do you press next?
Yeah,
But
I'm
we can
becoming a
we can clearly,
technophobe increasingly.
but we can clearly see that, and it's absolutely the colors are absolutely beautiful. And
Oh, thank
what
you.
com what comes across to me now is the Celtic mythology and the little people and the power of the land and how we're all connected with the magic of the land. I don't know
Yeah,
if that was your inspiration or not, but that's definitely the
absolutely.
aspect of it.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear everybody's different interpretations
Mm,
of it. It's very much the light coming from within.
Yeah,
and there's six interlacing trefoils. So the trefoil, the Trinity. So it's the Mother, the Maiden, the Crone, the
yeah,
Father, the Holy Spirit, the Earth, Mind, Body, Spirit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
all of those Trinities. And I see a kind of fish shape. So like if you look here, it's almost like a fish. So the Christ consciousness maybe
yeah.
as well within it. And so it's very much a lot of people, it's called Connection. And it was actually a commission for a family, and it was about the connections of the children who had, gone off, got married, and
Right.
all the connections, people who've left and gone abroad. And I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a edition prints of it as well. And a lot of people buy it from the States, so a lot of diaspora, Irish diaspora, which is lovely. It's just
yeah,
that
yeah.
connection back
Absolutely.
home.
It's definitely beautiful, and
So
it's
yeah, so you're
amazing.
right, the connection to the land. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing that too that you mentioned the three. I'm always talking about the three and one, and not everybody always gets it. The three, that sacred number, is all through the Bible, all through sacred geometry. There's
Yeah.
always this three.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah,
cube becomes the three. So it's really
yeah,
the bridge. It's like when you have two overlapping circles, like a Venn diagram, and then you have
yeah,
the space in the center called the vesica Pisces, which means the
yeah.
bladder of the fish.
And
So
it
it's,
really draws you in as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we move on. Hang on, I
that's
just
powerful.
type and let's go to see what comes up next. Sorry, I just can't see. It's just my
You're okay.
control. My controls are up there now. If I can move them now, I can do it. Now, so this one here is
No, we're
based.
still on the same one. We're still on the same one.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. You might have to X that one out and to bring in the new one.
Can you see that now?
No, we're still onto
No.
the same one.
Oh, I vexed the other one. Hang on. Will I stop sharing and reshare? Hang on, I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go. Hang on, I see it now. I see how to do it. Yeah, I see now.
there we go. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so this one is called the Rosy Cross, and it's
Mm,
based on a dream. So in the dream, W.B. Yeats was sitting on a chair over in the corner, and
yeah,
he looking. He showed me this book, and the book was like an ancient leather-bound book, and there
yeah.
was like a Celtic cross on the center of it, and there was the rose. But then there was four roses in the corners, but they were flickering. So they're coming in and out, in and out.
Mm,
And I was told to bring the rose forth. So to bring the rose
yeah,
back fully.
absolutely. Now, what I get from that now is you mentioned Mary Magdalene, and I would get Mother Mary. Definitely the divine feminine I would get from this, and the rosary. Because Mother Mary was all about the rosary, and I suppose the rosary is not necessarily connected to any one religion,
Yeah.
but it's just connecting to the soul, and that connection between ourselves in balance, the masculine and the feminine,
Yeah.
and from Mother Earth to Father Sky. It's that one connection,
I've
and
certainly been back to the rosary as well. So it's like,
mm,
to me, it's like the way I look at it is there's so many terrible things have happened in the Catholic Church that
yeah, oh God, yeah,
if I went to a book club and the book club was full of people gossiping, I don't go away and leave the book club and throw away the book as well. I just
yeah,
leave the book club.
yeah, exactly,
you know so and I
yeah,
find like then we have mantras, like, so I have been doing mantras and different things from different traditions, and this
mm,
is our own tradition. And so if you think of it kind of like a mantra, so
yeah,
it is a mantra really. And it's
yeah.
beautiful to do it in the Irish language as well, because it has subtle differences in the meaning.
Well, definitely, yeah. And you mentioned the Irish language. I mean, the Irish language was definitely connected with spirit and with the earth, and
Yeah,
it,
it's
it
very
came
connected.
across. It came across in its words and how people communicated with themselves. That a bit like the Sanskrit, where we recognize the divine within. And I,
Yeah,
I suppose the thing again about religions is religion is a man-made thing. There's nothing to do with our connections with God, with spirit, whatever word people want to use.
Yeah.
And we need to sort of get over that and realize, well,
Yeah, I'd say
these people,
reclaiming it, like reclaim it.
exactly, yeah, and
You know,
be our own gurus, be our own. I can't think of the word now at the moment, but we don't need to have
you don't need
a
the
religion.
intermediary. We don't need the middleman.
Exactly,
Yeah.
we can do it straight away. This is beautiful.
Absolutely.
This is wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
is that the earth in the middle up there, or
That is the
is that
moon in the middle. I love the moon. I think it's
okay?
feminine, and that often
Yeah,
comes in
absolutely. Yeah,
dreams
well,
as
yeah,
well. And yeah,
yeah,
so the moon being like a manifestation. And I find my dreams, it's really interesting when you track it. My dreams are much stronger on the new moon and the full moon.
yeah,
So it's almost like a
yeah,
satellite, and we're the receiver. So,
absolutely.
and it's pulling the tides, it's pulling women's cycles. It's
Yeah.
just incredible, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It affects all of the water signs and all of the water on the earth.
Yeah,
And we are what 70%, 80% water within us, and
yeah.
like that too. So if the moon is when it's the full moon, obviously it's going to affect us, like it affects the tide, you
And
know.
even apparently when you're gardening, so people with green fingers, they say they're more connected to the cycles of the moon and that because if
Yeah,
you pick, I think it's if you pick a plant, like say a root vegetable, when the moon is either waxing or waning, it'll
yeah,
have more vitamins in it, and
yeah,
vice versa, the ones over the ground at another phase of the moon. So
yeah.
yeah, it's fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the same with herbology. It's all connected as well. When you
Yeah,
plant the herbs and when you pick them will depend on the potency or what type of energy you're going to get from them. And
yeah,
of course, crystals. You know, we say we put your crystals out in the moon
yeah,
to endow the moon energy, the feminine energy. That's
absolutely.
beautiful. Yeah.
Now, can you see the change there? You can. I'm getting it. I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah. Oh no, no, we're still on the same one.
Oh, we're still
It
on the
hasn't
I'm not getting the
translated.
hang of it. Oh,
Oh, now there we go. Oh
there we
yeah,
go. We got it.
yeah.
Okay.
We have
Great.
it now. Ah yeah. No, that's definitely that's Egypt.
Yeah, there's very much Egyptian vibe, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
So this is the flower of life. So it's like the
Yeah,
block in sacred geometry of the universe, basically. You can all
yeah.
shapes come out of this. So you can pull mesh transcube out of this. Um, and I just love kind of playing with the geometries and working very intuitively with it.
Mm,
A very feminine way to work with it because when I began very intuitively, and then I began after a year of doing it, I began kind of studying what I was actually doing.
mm.
And it was quite a masculine, like it's quite a heady, like it's a lot of books and what it means and this and do it this way and that way. And I was kind of going, God, am I doing something wrong? You know, like this feeling of maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But, so that
No,
was something to overcome within myself and just honoring that maybe the feminine principle just works a little bit differently and it's intuitive and
yeah,
it's bringing it into balance. So bringing that kind of geometric in with the organic, the flowers. So it's called the Garden of Awakening, this one.
beautiful. And of
Um,
course, that's what the world needs nowadays. It is more of the divine feminine and to bring everything back into balance.
yes, yeah. And it's like, with the people, there's so much talk about toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What I say with that is if there's toxic masculinity, by definition, there's toxic femininity.
absolutely. The
Because
opposite
it
of that.
can't,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like a weighing scales. And
yeah,
so we have to stop blaming out there and start looking
yeah,
within.
exactly.
And and come away from all of the stuff that is trying to divide us because I think we are at a stage of our evolution
Yeah,
and by making us fearful and
yeah,
outraged and fear and anger sells, there's no doubt about that, and all the click
absolutely. Yeah,
on
yeah,
this headline and it's very hard not to because you're kind of going, oh, what's happening now, what's happening now.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It
God, you're talking my language.
yeah, it's like I don't know, it's a very difficult time to parse through it, but if you think, you know back in history, and there were other wars all the
Yeah,
way through history. And if you think in 1939, there was people who were embroiled in the war, but there was also people who were living, like the Dalai Lama was living
yeah,
peacefully. And so make a choice, try and make a choice as best you can to live as
exactly.
peacefully as possible and to bring peace to the people around you. And it's what you can control, because you can't control what
No.
our government are doing. You can't control, we can write letters and get ignored and all of
Yeah,
that,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
which I
yeah,
do. And that does, it is hard to kind of be in that position. But
yeah.
look, we have the only thing we can do then is just be the best we can be for the people around us
Absolutely.
and bring light and creation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
your work is definitely doing that, and it's definitely bringing the light, shining the light, and yeah, magnificent
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna go to this one. I
too.
have it.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah,
is can you see it now? Yeah.
yeah. I can, yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's great. You're bringing sacred geometry into everything,
Yeah.
which is
It's
brilliant.
this is Meshtron's cube. So that is from
Yeah,
the one you saw before there, the flower of life. So
yeah,
it's it's from the flower of life. So you pull out 13 circles from the flower of life. So the 13 again represents the feminine. So there's 13 moons in the year, 13 weeks in a season. Anybody has a mortgage, if you pay a 13th payment over the year, you reduce your mortgage, both the payment and the time. Does that make sense? They won't let you do a 13th payment, but just overpay by a 12th
right.
each. This is a little tip.
Yeah,
There's all these things where the 13 is very maligned, but it's a
yeah,
very powerful number. So yeah, so this was working through. When I worked through this, I did they pull out the 13 circles, so that's the feminine, and then you join the 13 circles together by a straight line into the center of each. So that's the masculine principle. And then you get the shapes. So you get the five platonic solids from
yeah.
that. Five platonic solids would represent air, water, fire, earth, and spirit. And when I was doing it, I did the zodiac signs around it. And that night I was halfway through it kind of, and I had a dream where I was hovering over a lake and there was a fish coming up through my feet from the lake. It
Right.
was right, and I was going, what is that? And then the next day I was kind of went back to it, and I remembered somebody had told me about a 13th zodiac sign called Ophiuchus.
Mm,
So Ophiuchus is supposed to be November time. So some say it was deliberately left out, and some say it's
right.
because the geometry of 13 is extraordinarily hard. So artists would have gone to the 12 because the 12 is a lot easier
Mm,
to do. But in any case, when you can Google your astrological sign with Ophiuchus in with the 13 signs. So I would be
okay.
Aries. I'm Aries with the 12, and I'm Pisces with the 13
With the 13.
ish.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And which resonates much more with me than actually Aries would. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
fascinating.
yeah, no, it is. It definitely is. But and I think at different times, at different stages, that we can resonate more with one than with the other.
Yeah,
The same
yeah,
like with the Ayurvedic medicine as well, is that, sometimes we're all primarily Vata or Beta, and then we can change, we can sort of morph into something else.
yeah,
Depends on what's going on.
absolutely.
Not, and as I say, nothing stays the same. Everything is moving.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
And if we're not
It is
moving,
everything is
even when
shifting.
we die, there's still vibration. Our body is still changing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Very
So
good.
can you see the new one?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So this one is
that's
called
lovely.
Kala Chakra for the goddess.
Mm,
And again, that is based on the Tibetan Buddhist mandalas.
yeah.
So it was a huge painting. So I think it was 100, maybe a meter by a meter.
Okay.
So, and it went off to its new home in Norway. But it's very, again, so you see the four gates,
Yeah,
these four gates of wisdom, and then you have the wheels of time. So the monks, you'll often see them creating them out of sand.
yeah,
They'll create this opposite, four monks will work together, and it's with the intention of healing. And then they destroy the mandala, they sweep it up, and they put the sand into a container and they pour it into the running water of the city that they're working in. So it represents non-attachment and the impermanence of all things,
yeah, yeah,
and that
yeah.
life is cyclical. And they say that the crime rates can drop up to 10% in a city where they're working. So it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that, all right.
Yeah.
It's
And when I
it's
began myself, I used to burn the mandalas after. They're very powerful in kind of bringing up stuff for healing, whether it's conscious or subconscious, if that makes sense. Some of it felt
yeah,
ancient. Um, and so that's a beautiful practice as well to do. So sometimes I do that in the workshops I do and that kind of thing where people, I would give people the space to let go, to
yeah.
release. And it's amazing to spend so much time doing something, creating something so beautiful and being able to let it go.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
ultimately, that's what we'll all have to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like that too as well. You mentioned it too, the generational healing. That I reckon that a lot of people are here to reconcile their lineage and do the healing, for the generations that have gone before us.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, and it's like, oh, that's wonderful. Yeah,
Okay. So you can see the new one.
yeah,
She is Mother Mary.
yeah,
I did her. That's the most recent painting, and I had been to the Evie Hone and Mamie Jellett exhibition in the National Gallery.
right.
And Evie Hone was a painter. She was. I have my studio is based in Marley Park in Rathfarnham in Dublin,
Oh,
and
lovely. Yeah,
Evie Hone was there. So she was there
okay,
from 1930 to 1955,
right.
and then she died actually on the steps of the church, the local church here down in Rathfarnham village, the Church of the
Okay,
Annunciation. That's where my mum and dad were both the funerals were, but they yeah, it was just a lovely connection. So it was kind of she was a cubist, and so
right,
they both of them were best friends, and they did a lot of cubist work, and they were kind of derided at the time.
right.
Kind of there's blobs of paint and stuff. When you go to see the work, it's you can really feel the vibration of it.
Yeah, yeah,
And they were exploring the sacred feminine again, and the mother. There's a lot of the mother and the child, which is really,
yeah.
really
Very,
beautiful. That's just a little homage
absolutely
to Evie Hone, who was, yeah, in our studio.
beautiful.
So it's lovely to kind of honor that history.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And then, of course, people always sort of deride anything that they don't understand, and they try to put it down and belittle it.
yeah.
It just seems to be the human way. That's glorious. Yeah.
So I think now we are. Can you see that one
Yeah,
now?
yeah, we can see the new one.
But
Yeah,
my
yeah,
screen is doing something completely different. As my want. This one is kind of similar to the Kalashakra one, but it's called
yeah,
Ammonese. And Ammonesis means it's a Platonic word. It means remembrance. So that like remembrance, as you're saying, Declan, the ancestral healing and the
yeah, yeah.
remembering of the ancient Egypt, the remembering. Um, and my degree would be philosophy actually, and so Plato had
Okay.
Socrates was he had a concept called the entelechy.
Mm,
Entelechy is like the intelligence that's embedded within, say, a seed. So if you
yeah,
have a seed, the seed, if the seed is for uh, I don't know, a wallflower, it's
yeah,
going to be a wallflower. If
yeah.
it's
It's not,
not going to be
not
an
going to
apple.
give you a daffodil. Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, but we
yeah,
all have an encoding within us of
yeah,
our potential, of our highest potential to grow into what we're meant to be. But I
yeah.
think when we're brought into this world, it's forgotten. And then
Absolutely.
our job is to remember that through our lives.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
it's a lot of people, I think it's hitting people younger, hit me at middle age, kind of, or it probably hit me younger, but I didn't grasp onto the thread that it was being offered, like with the ancient
yeah,
Egyptian stuff. And then I kind of went through another years, and then another opening arrived, and I could hold onto the thread and start to pull.
yeah. Brilliant. And of course, I mean that's the thing. I mean, we're all programmed, from babies, and to be a certain way, and then society sort of tries to mold us in a certain way, where
Yeah,
really everything is inside, and we need to look within
yeah,
and like you said, to latch onto the strings and to pull forth at it.
yeah. And
And
it's an
most people,
unraveling. It's an unraveling,
yeah,
and it's an easy thing. It's not.
yeah, yeah,
People say, "Oh, the spiritual journey," and it's all light and this and that. And if it is, you're bypassing, I would
yeah,
say, that you have to unravel a lot of shit too, unfortunately,
yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
and
Well,
and deal with it and kind of process it through yourself and through
yeah, yeah,
creativity is a great way for doing that.
absolutely. And that's why we have it. That's what this
Yeah,
is why people instinctively either
yeah,
pick up a pen and start writing or start drawing and
yeah.
not realize why. And there's
And it is
great
often
healing in
in the
that.
most difficult stages of our lives that we actually begin to understand the importance of it. Like I
Yeah,
went through cancer treatment myself in 2021, 22.
right.
And if I didn't have this, I don't think I'd have got through because I lost both my parents at the same time. So it was literally
Yeah,
within within 3 or 4 months, all of that
A
happened.
lot going on. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but years ago, I had a colleague who unfortunately passed away from cancer as well. But he sent me a letter about 3 days before he passed away, and he said, we would have worked together, and he would always been slagging me off for my artistic ways, right? We'd the banter like at work or whatever.
Yeah,
But he said, I actually understand the value of it now from the
yeah,
last few months, that it was hugely important, and it really is. It's just all the kind of material stuff falls away, and you're
that's it.
faced with something, and creativity allows you to access something beyond words,
Yeah,
you know? So yeah,
yeah. Well, you're definitely accessing a lot of different things, uh, otherworldly things, if you like. When you bring it in, oh, that's a new one as well now coming up.
yeah, you can see that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this one is a 12 pointed star.
Mm.
Again, the 12 is it's kind of reminiscent of your background there. It's
Right. Yeah.
um it's about time. And time, to me, time is an illusion. And
Mm.
I've been told that in dreams. I had one dream where it was like it's like I walked into a bar. It felt like Edinburgh or somewhere, and at the turn of the
Okay.
sanctuary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And there was a man over in the corner, and I said to him, what year is it? And he goes, there are no years. It doesn't matter. And I said, what
yeah,
time is it? He goes, there is no time.
yeah.
And so that always, and I think because I have precognitive dreams as well, and I have had them over the years, and then you're kind of going, why am I having them? And what can I do with them? I don't know what you're supposed to do with them, because you can't change what's happening, if that makes sense. And would you have had the precognitive dream if the thing wasn't going to happen? So if you did change the reality. Sorry, that's getting really now mad. But
Oh, yeah. No, 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 no. It's absolutely the because I mean this is the whole thing. I believe that there's many different realities all at the same time, and it
yeah.
all depends on which one we jump into or
Yeah, it's
walk
like
into.
timelines, and it's
Yeah,
becoming more apparent. I think it's becoming more apparent for a lot of people now.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Even in
And I
the
mean, on
debate.
planet Earth, we need time because time is a
Yeah,
construct for planet Earth. But like
absolutely.
if we were in Mars now, it would be something else, or
Yeah, it'd be very
further
different.
afield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but
that
yeah,
whole
but yeah,
concept of time or deja vu, or like
yeah,
not nor I suppose don't or synchronicities that happen where
yeah,
something happens outside yourself and you just had that thought. Like
yeah,
say you just had the thought about somebody, next thing the phone rings and it's them.
exactly. Yeah,
Don't discount those moments. Kind of
yeah,
sit with them and allow them to seep in. Don't kind of go, oh, that was just it's just a coincidence. It's
yeah.
meaningless. I don't think they are meaningless. And I think when you start
No,
to those breadcrumbs, and that's
yeah,
certainly what happened to me, was a journey of like profound synchronicities that led
yeah,
me into
yeah, yeah.
it. So
And definitely, and like I said, they happen for a reason that we and if we follow them.
yeah,
And this is the one thing again about, meditating or relaxing where we allow ourselves for things to evolve and for things to bubble up so that we can actually feel them rather than being too busy. This thing going on
yeah,
constantly, which we miss everything because there's
yeah,
magic happening all around us all of the time.
absolutely. And the phone and the all the
Yeah. Too many
bombardment
distractions.
stop.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
it's so easy to get pulled into it. But
yeah,
synchronicity, like even the word chronos is in there.
yeah,
So chronos is time. So the
yeah,
Greek time. So it's a fascinating
absolutely.
thing to think about. And
There we go.
so that is called the red egg of the Magdalene.
Yeah.
So she was apparently Mary Magdalene went to Julius Caesar and said was saying about Christ or whatever, and then Julius Caesar said he no more existed. That's no more true than if this egg turned red, and it turned
Okay.
red. And so that was the story of the red egg. I think where the Easter eggs come from as well. So it was just
Yeah,
a nice,
yeah,
and it's kind of nice to bring Mary Magdalene back from the bowels where she was kind of cast.
yeah, absolutely. She's been lost for too long.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's
yeah,
there's been a lot more information like over the last 5, 6 years on Mary Magdalene.
yeah,
And she has a lot more to offer than what we
absolutely. That what we thought now. Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
Gospels of Mary Magdalene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that is all of the ones now I have, unless you want me to.
No, that was beautiful, and that it brings us up nicely as well, with the to the half hour.
It was a pleasure. Now,
No, no, absolutely. I mean, your artwork is beautiful, and the way everything that you're bringing in, the sacred geometry and the ancient wisdom, and Mary Magdalene and the Mother Mary, there's definitely been a rise into the divine feminine, like over
yeah,
the last couple of years, and there's more and more happening. And like you said, it's all about. It's not against, the feminine coming up, the feminine against the masculine. It's all about
no,
balance,
no, no, no,
balancing
no.
everything.
I mean, if you were thinking that way, I would really suggest kind of just looking at the whole thing because one can't be out of balance without the other being out of balance. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
bringing it back and
Yeah.
back into balance, and there's no one better than the other.
No, exactly. And we're living in a
Harmonic.
world of duality. We have to, and it's all about balancing. It's all
Mm.
about the middle road. There's an ad there was an ad for Oxo, and there's two fellas up in the highlands there, and they're painting the road. And your man talking about, I had pea and ham soup made from a chicken, and the other fella, he says straight down the middle, straight down the road, and it's like it's this balance that we need to balance our life. And the recognition that good and evil, you can't have one without the other.
No,
And
no,
it's within
unfortunately,
everything, and
yeah,
it's all about that balance.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. But
think this is
and I think when you see so much coming at us from the world and that seems so evil, and so I
yeah,
think that bear in mind that everything has its equal opposite. So the just as much
absolutely,
good is there.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Just have to find
absolutely.
it.
You know,
Just not.
and it's a great way too on our own personal journey. If we're going through a lot of stuff at the moment, the opposite of that is a lot of good stuff, and it's to
Exactly.
know that this will pass and the scale will change, and
Yeah.
it can help some, we can get too mired up in our own stuff sometimes and realize, well, there's the opposite, that we're just moving, just need to move the scale a little bit,
Yeah.
to work towards the opposite.
Yeah.
Patricia, that been a delight talking to you, and it's been a delight looking at your art, wonderful art. So people who are listening now, we'll put Patricia's links and all the rest of it in the comments so you'll be able to reach out to her and contact her. And like Patricia was saying, you'll be able to buy some of the prints
Yeah. I have
through
limited edition
online
print.
or
And
or
actually, I have an oracle deck as well, which is
oh,
7 years.
beautiful.
I'll pull us a
Yeah.
card, like for a end.
Do absolutely, yeah.
It's yeah, it's an oracle deck, so 7 years of work in this. So it's the second one, but yeah, let's
Glorious.
see what we get.
This is beautiful.
Fire.
Fire. We could do with a bit
So
of
you
that.
just
Yeah.
have the kind of passion that sets the world on fire. Don't fear the light within your soul. Allow it to burn brightly and illuminate your very being, warming those around you.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. For everybody who's listening and who's going to watch the replay, please reach out to Patricia. She's a hive of information. There's a lot more to her than just the art. And as you can see by the art, if definitely if it resonates with you, please do reach out and contact Patricia so you can find out more and get your own piece of art there. Thank you everybody for watching on the Coming Home to You network. And we had Patricia. Is there any final words that you'd like to leave our listeners with, Patricia?
No, just thank you for listening, and I hope it brought something of value to you.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.